Yo, what's up, Paradigm Shift? Okay, so now we're going to shift our understanding of anatomy. So whether you've dived into these textbooks, gone through personal training, anything really, knowing anatomy, studying it in school, whether you remember it, whether you're an artist and you like to draw, and it comes down to knowing how those muscles, those shapes are placed on the body, there's a lot of reasons to know anatomy. And I always like to teach it like how I'm going to show you now. So understanding your body, right? Like, what are you? So we're our head. We've got 360 degrees motion. Our neck is involved in that process. So head, neck, and then we get into our torso. So our torso, we can kind of include our hips in that, right? So it's this range up to here. So we've got our abs in the front and our back muscles and a lot of stabilizers in the back. And then we get into our appendages. So our arms, our legs. I like to start here. Our arms and our legs, this is a cool kind of place to start understanding anatomy. They're the same, more or less, right? So your leg and your arm, if we take our arm, flip it over this way, you're gonna see, well, imagine this, right? So your elbow and your knee are the same. Your shoulder, your hip, your ankle, your wrist, and your ankle. They all have the same structure through development. So let's take it like this. Think of your tricep, that big working muscle on the back of your arm, where you kind of see it develops like this, and you got those two heads, right? So that looks just like our quad as it's developed. So this big working muscle is that quad that comes over here. It's made up of a few muscles here. It's made up of 4 muscles here. So that is how that translates. And then flip it over. You feel those 2 tendons by your bicep, and you feel those 2 tendons behind your knee on your hamstring. It's the same relationship there. So your bicep and your hamstring are responsible for bringing, for bringing this motion, right? So we flip it over, it's the same motion as your leg, these 2 motions. So our wrist and our ankle, our foot is our ankle, is our wrist like this. And then with the same bone structure, essentially developing different to form the pads of our feet versus the pads of our hands. And yeah, we have to train everything in the same way. So we all know a lot more about training our upper body. So when it comes to our wrists, we all train this way. We got our flexion working so, we have our flexion working so, and then we take our 360s inside and out. We do similar things with our legs. This is one of the most missed training aspects of legs, is leaning on something, getting that little distance between your butt and your feet, and pulling your legs up this way, lifting with your soleus, the front of your shins. Very small muscle group that is responsible for moving you around anywhere you want to go if these legs work. And to keep them working, this is a critical movement in keeping your legs pain-free, working, staying strong, running, proprioception, any sport training where you need to be stability, agile, stop and start. Lifting this way, super important, always missed. We know our calf races that go this way. I think everyone knows these, their muscle group is kind of flashy, it gets attention. So we all kind of know this. And then similar to our wrist taking 360s, we take our ankles in 360s, inside and out. Right, so we've got those joints kind of understood now. Now our knee and our elbow. So clearly our elbow can go up and down. It cannot go side to side, right? Like if we lock in here, the elbow has no range to move like that. Same with our knee. We can go forward, backwards. We cannot move our knee any other direction than that. That is where our hips and our shoulders come in. So ball and socket, essentially, and a true ball and socket here. So the same training aspects come into play. As a martial artist and someone who's had, injuries from fighting, shoulders are very delicate, hips are too. But what I like to teach with shoulders is we all know and like to see and build out rounded shoulders. So muscle in front, muscle on the side, muscle on the back. We have the same exact thing with our hips. Muscle in the front, muscle on the side, muscle on the back. However, we don't, unless you're in martial arts and I tell you to do this, or you've had disciplined teachers and senseis that teach you to do this, you don't practice taking your legs out to the side, right? I never go to the gym and see someone taking their leg up, bringing it in, and extending it out with a hold. We only see these in dojos. And that's one of the most important movements for coming down and having a strong squat and moving everything properly. So we have our So I'm going to show you two movements that are quintessential for moving the bone inside the socket. Right, so we're going to start with the upper body. So normally I like to use the lacrosse ball, just grabbing a rock that I have here. And yeah, so we're going to, grab that lacrosse ball. We're going to squeeze, bring it onto the, essentially the inner side of your body, squeeze nice and tight, and rotate your hand inwards. So we're rotating the socket up here, all the way through in it, and then we're going to lift up. And then we're going to move that arm over to the right. Then we're going to do our external rotation while squeezing. Don't let me take that ball or whatever you're holding from you. Hold that tight. Feel that external rotation inside the socket, and we're going to lower down. And bring it back to the inside. Internally rotate. Re-raise. Move out to the out. Externally rotate. And we're going to do this on both sides. And do this while you're watching TV, just hanging out. It's super simple, honestly, and it's going to feel really good. It'll open up your posture. And yeah, and then we'll do it on both sides. So we're going to squeeze, bring it into kind of more of that midline area, and then we're going to internally rotate. So we feel that rotation in there. We raise up, we move out to the side, then we externally rotate, squeezing that ball or whatever you have in your hand. Don't let me take it from you. Squeeze it, and we lower down. We bring to the midline, interior rotation. We raise, move to the outside, external rotation, and bring it in. Moving the socket inside, moving that ball in the socket. Then we take it to the lower body, right? We've got to do the same thing down here. So we have hip cars. You can hold for stability to start. Bring that leg over to one side. We raise up nice and high, and then we swing. So keep the distance, keep that knee away from you, pushing all around to the side. And now we might have to reset our posture as we're doing this. Right now I feel a little tightness there. So I'm just gonna try it again without pushing out so far. And then we're gonna rotate our leg up, reset our core, make sure we're still stable. Bring that leg up to the side, lower down with control, and we'll take it back the other way. Bring that leg down, keep that knee far away, push it out, across, past the midline. We're gonna reset. So while watching TV, while waiting for something to cook, you name it, we're practicing these. And it's gonna make moving around and everything so much nicer. So we do the same thing on both sides. So we're bracing. If you'd like, you don't have to. We'll get better with it. We're gonna come up, rotate out to the side, kick that leg up, make sure we're still braced, bring it down, and take it back. So moving our joints inside the socket, super important, because we're not just muscle, right? We're ligaments, fascia, a lot of other little things going on there that are very important to keeping us capable of moving well. And especially once we add weight to those movements, once we add weight, a barbell, that's where these imbalances really start to show. So understanding your anatomy in this way helps a lot, right? So your hips, they're just like your shoulders, muscle front, side, back, they all got to get trained. You got to take your legs up to the side, right? Got to be able to do that. And there's ways to progress this that I'm happy to teach. Drop comments in the comment section. Ask anything, because there's just too much out there. Like, we all have the information at our disposal, but knowing what to act on is the trickiest part. So yeah, I get this brought up a lot, and when I'm explaining things and teaching things, this is where I like to start, because we're often just not taught what we wish we were taught as kids. And this is something that I wish kids were taught, to understand their body like this, right? Arms and legs, same thing. Do the same thing. We're a torso. So you have your abs on the front side, your back. And if you've seen really ripped and lean guys, you've kind of seen that they have kind of abs that show up on the bottom side of their back, on the lower side. So right? So like you have that abdominal type of muscle pattern on the back to stabilize your spine, right? So with a braced core and a strong back, then your spine is solid. And then we train upper body. So picture doing shoulder presses, right? So sitting down, that's a leg press. That's exactly a leg press. So leg day now can be quite a bit more fun if you frame it in that way. It's like, no, it's my lower body push day. right? And then you have your lower body pull day, where you're laying on a bench and you're gonna, with your hamstring curls, things like that, lower body pull, because that's an upper body pull. So that framework is something that once I figured out, and I learned it through myself, just from reading the books and writing it out and drawing all these muscles and putting the work in. Like, you see it, it's right there, but it's not explained in that way. So yeah, let me know if kind of knowing it like this changes anything within you. You get a little paradigm shift when it comes to your own training, and you can have a bit more fun with it. And yeah, because you know, these muscles that look good up top, they look good down below too. And now you know how to hit them properly. And yeah, if you know, like if your shoulders are tight and stuff, we're always told to work on these wood chops. Bring it up high, take it back. We do those pretty often, right? Like if you've been through physio, if you've been told to do these things help you, they make you feel good, then these are some things that you just do because they feel good. Like, you're not told to do it. You know, there's no ego in it. You just do it because it makes you feel good, because it's something you like to do. It becomes part of your practice, like having a coffee, like, you know, your favorite restaurant, whatever it is. No, these are your favorite movements, and no one's going to stop you from doing it. So one thing I like to pick up, I'll be right back. I have a 20-pound, this padded bar. So with this, you know, while you're sitting, whatever it is you're doing, you can work on some wrist flexion, flip it over. You can work on it both ways. Whatever it is you're doing. When you're hanging out, right? We can take a brace to work on some core bracing. Come up on one leg, bring that out, give it a rotation while bracing your core. Feel it all fire. Take it back. So these are a lot of fun for working on functional strength and keeping a great posture. And now that you know your anatomy, you know your legs, your torso, and your neck and head, and the arms are the same and all that good stuff. Yeah, so think about this going into your next training. Let me know what you think about it. If there's things I can elaborate on for you or other things you'd like to know. But yeah, you're not that complicated. You're super unique in the experiences you've had and what that's going to make you do, but you're not unique as a object of this universe of simple science and math and anatomy at the end of the day. So yeah, Avi out. Hope this helped with your training, and take care. Bye. That's not mom, but dogs are the same too, in a way. Come up. That's not mom. All right.